What's up, guys? It's your boy Parag. Welcome back to the Hard Challenge Day 37. Day 37. We are back. Literally just woke up like 5 minutes ago. It's currently 10:27 a.m. I went to bed. I fell asleep at like 2:30 or something. So I got like 7 hours of sleep around there. But let's get on to the reading section of the day. If you want to skip out to the workout, be my guest. We are doing a back day, so there we go. Before we get into the main reading, obviously we gotta go into the question of the day. Question of the day is, do you like your job? Explain. No. Do I like my job? The only thing I like about my job is the fact that it is remote. Other than that, no. For all the new viewers or current viewers, I work at a call center for an insurance company. No, it's not it, bro. I don't want to get into too much details because like I currently work at the company. So if they find this video, I might get fired. But once I leave the company, trust me, I will be ranting. But for now, I'm gonna keep it P. I don't like the company. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. All right, on to the reading section of the day. We got okay, so we're talking about a Robert guy. So as Robert, a 32-year-old Frenchman who is single and a self-defined musician, put it, I am always in several deals at once. Most don't work out anyway, so you might as well not wait to start something new again. I always have at least 3, 4 things going on at the same time. Do they know? Of course not. Why would they? That's my life. I don't know what they would do when they're not with me. I don't ask, and I expect the same from them. So he's basically talking about how he has like multiple girls at the same time. Crazy. Here, sexual multiplicity, I guess, is taken for granted because it is viewed as a prerogative of one's private life, and because most relationships don't work anyway. Casual sex thus introduces an uncertainty not only about the frame and goal of the interaction, but also about its boundaries. Sexuality as a source of certainty. Paradoxically, the automation of the body means that bodily experiences are a source of certainty, and that emotions attached to such experiences either become uncertain or must follow bodily experiences, because sexualization centers source of pleasure. It makes emotions less relevant to the entry in relationships. The body henceforth becomes the only thing, or at least the only reliable source of knowledge. As Lena, a 56-year-old feminist lesbian Israel artist, put it, Lena, after I meet a woman, if I am attracted to her, I have to go to bed with her. Crazy thing to even say. It is the first thing I do. Not the restaurants, drinks, movies, bullshit. I don't ask myself if I want a relationship before I sleep with her. I have to sleep with her first to know if I want if I even want a relationship without sex. I wouldn't know. Damn. This echoed by Aviva, 34-year-old heterosexual Israel woman who is a medical doctor. Aviva, the first test a man has to pass is the one in bed. I want to know if we are compatible sexually. If he knows how to touch me, if yes, we can check the relationship. If not, then I don't know. Pursue it. Interviewer, if you don't pursue it, even if, say, everything else works well, Aviva, right, I don't pursue it. Sexual life is too important. Damn, I didn't know that older people, like 50s, 40s, like, are into that. That's them. I didn't know. I thought they were more like, I didn't know. These quotes indicate an entirely new way of approaching and getting to know others. When sexuality plays a role of espinology, a way to know a person and establish the truth of a relationship. In that sense, we may seem that sexualization of relationships entails a paradox. The body and sexuality become a source of certainty. But the overall frame of relationships is uncertain. Uncertainty is not only about the frame, the goal, and the boundaries of the interaction, but also about the role that sexual attractiveness and sexuality should play when approaching a person. Because the body and sexuality have become the respiratories of the new relation espinology, they function as the truth of a relationship, yet they are unable to solely to generate emotional strategies of action. When pre-modern courtship started with emotions ended with sex that could produce guilt and anxiety, complementary relationships started with sex and must grapple with the anxious task of generating emotions. The body has become the site for expression of emotions, and emotions become extraneous and sexual interactions. Damn. So basically, they're saying like how some folks they really do the sex part first, and then they go on to the relationships. Crazy. Uncertainty and negative sociality. I dub these relationships negative. My use of term negative is either the one it is neither the one of it is neither the one it has to common parlors, nor is it the same as meaning it was of physiological tradition. For Theodore W., negative thinking was a free feature of non-identity thinking, the kind of thinking that could help us particulars and not fall prey to abstract and instrumental rationality. My use of negative is also quite different from the one that has been popularized by Alexandra Koyve's interpretation of the Hegel phenomenon of spirit. Commenting on Hegel's I can't say his name or her name, asserted, for self-consciousness and hence philosophy to exist, there must be in man not a positive passive contemplation which barely reveals being, but also negative desire, and hence action that deforms the given being. The reason I must be one of desire that is active, I negating I, and I that transforms being and creates a new being by destroying the given being now. Now, what is I of desire and the I of a hungry man? For example, but an emptiness greedy for content, an emptiness who wants to be filled by what is full, to be filled by emptiness, this fullness to put itself once it's filled. In the place of fullness, to occupy with the fullness of emptiness caused by overcoming the fullness that was not its own. Bro, what in the what? I don't get that. This meaning of negativity, the self as an emptiness that longs for fullness, was further popularized by Jacques Lacan for a whole school of thought and came to a practical defined desire itself. It is the mark of subjectivity that is a quest in recognition by another of another's desire, and yet that can never settle with the appropriation of the other's recognition or desire. One finds oneself desiring an object one can never grasp, or appropriation of such an object would entail. Such negativity is a positive moment of the self, in the sense that it unfolds through the projection of oneself onto the desire onto the desire of another that it wants to absorb or struggle with. And to that extent, it is generative both of identity and of social bonds. I call here negative bonds something else. A negative here means that the subject does not want relationship or is unable to form it because of the structure of his or her desire. In a negative bond, the self evades the mechanism of desire and recognition altogether. It is a bond in which there is no attempt to find. Attempt to find, know, appropriate, and conquer the subjectivity of another. In negative bonds, other means for self-expression and for the assertion of one's autonomy, and not the object of recognition. Jean-Paul Sartre's notion of nothingness is actually useful here. Sarah Bakewell, the author of a popular yet comprehensive history of existence movement, summarizes nothingness as the following. Let's suggest that I have made an appointment to meet my friend Pierre at a certain cafe at 4 o'clock. I arrive 15 minutes late and look around anxiously. Is Pierre here? I perceive lots of other things: customers, tables, mirrors, and lights. The cafe smokes atmosphere, the sound of a rattling crockery, and a general murmuring of hubbub. This vintage is meant to illustrate something about the conscious self. The fact that it is indeterminate, that it is apprehended self an absent peer. A negative relationship is like looking for someone in an imbecile of people. Artifact spaces and not even finding him or her. It is a feeling this absence and the indeterminateness of one's intentions and desires. A negative relationship is thus not voluntary recapitulate to sex or love because of a higher injunction, nor is the void indescribed inside the act of desiring, but rather it is the perception of an absent other in midness of ongoing hummingness of the presence of many others, and the perception of indeterminateness of my own intentions. An additional meaning of negative remains in the same philosophical tradition and derives from the Martin Heidegger. To speak about the unproblematic relationship of human beings in the world, Heidegger uses the metaphor of a hammer. I am hammering. Being barely aware of the hammer and of my project of hammering this piece of wood. Whatever that means. I will, but if something goes wrong and the hammer or the nail breaks, I will suddenly start paying attention to what I need, what I do, and will look at myself in a new way. What had been ready to hand flip into the present at hand, an inherent object to be glared at, explains Bakewell. In this new sense of negative relationships that are established do not work the way they should, they thus force and compel my attention. They become an object to be glared at, discussed, puzzled over. Here, the relationship becomes the departure point of a reflective detachment from a routine of doing and feeling. Negative bonds are negative in which one of these two, they point an absent object I cannot seize because the situation is indeterminate, or they reveal that something is not quite working as they should, what the relationship is here. Negative relationships have fuzzy, unclear, undefined, or contested purposes. They have no scripted rules of engagement and disengagement and carry no or little penalty for being undone. The first form of negative bonds disappears quickly, not because it is contractually different as transcendent, but because of their relative normative. They lack of scripted rules and lack a share of meaning. The second form of negative bonds has to do with the fact that in them they do not quite work properly. It should be clear that positive and negative have no moral implications. These terms refer only to the ways in which the social bonds are generated, whether by clearly formulated in cultural scripts or being unscripted and normatively fuzzy. A negative social relationship is one that is driven by uncertainty, while a positive relationship is relatively structured and organized around clear norms. The fuzziness of negative relationships has a meaning. It has fuzzy logic, expresses the fact that normativity. It is not defined by normative deviant binary opposition, but rather it contains unclear and contested rules. For example, in Jewish religion, a woman's adultery is normally defined in an unmistakable manner. It is always prohibited and always harshly punished. Man's adultery, on the other hand, is normally fuzzy. It is prohibited, but only sometimes when the married man commits adultery with a married woman. While not being recommended, adultery with a single woman does not incur severe punishment and does not threaten the normative core of the Jewish law and family. Men's adultery is thus located on what I would call a fuzzy normative scale. While a married woman is always prohibited and punished, I would thus venture the following hypothesis in the realm of love and sexuality. We have moved from a modality of cultural action in which culture described the world thickly in symbols and moral narratives, prescribed and guided behavior through hot meetings of well-laid plans of action, to monadary of culture in which anonymity and freedom produce relatively weakly scripted, fuzzy rules of interactions with unpredictable outcomes, that is, relatively normalist interactions, at least in the private and intimate domain. By normlessness, I mean not only that behavior is improvised and that rules are up for grabs, but also the less painful meaning that norms governing the conduct of sexual bonds are unclear. that they do not follow a moral and script, and that little social punishment is incurred for breaking rules of reciprocity. Normless interaction do not sharply differentiate adequate from inadequate behavior because few punishments come attached to inadequate behavior. This lack of thick normative derives from the very practice of freedom and is associated positive injunctions such as a self resilience, autonomy, and endoism. All dominant all dominant vocabularies of selfhood, these positive injunctions generate negative bonds. Bonds that are normative, fuzzy, chaotic, have multiple definitions and purposes that are site for expression of one's autonomy through withdrawal or unchoice. If Yorick Beck and Elizabeth Beck, the norms of chaos of love, was a source of positive sociality, that is, source for improvisation and productivity, relationship chaos here is a source of a negative sociality, of reordering, of formation and management of relationship through uncertainty. Okay. That was the last page. I feel like that right there, it's still crazy to me figuring out how like they're getting into the whole like casual sex type of thing, and how it's crazy how like older folks are doing it too. But I'm not gonna lie, I had like I thought like older folks would, you know, be more locked down, but I guess some are just not, you know what I'm saying? But hey, that's the reading section of the day. We're gonna go on to the back workout of the day. Peace.
Back day, we did some pull-ups. I did like 4. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, man. We're doing some dumbbell bent over rows. I'm not gonna lie, the form isn't too perfect. But back onto the pull-ups, I'm not gonna lie, my like right back is stronger than my left back, so it's kind of hard for me to do pull-ups because every time I do it, I only feel the burn on my right side. So that's why like after Japan, I'm planning to go to a gym so I can actually like individually use machines to work out the muscle on my butt, on my back, left and right side. Doing some traps. The camera angle was pretty low. I thought it was actually higher. Oh shit, man. Y'all get to see my booty. No, I'm playing. And then after that, we ended off doing some lower back pulls. Yup, making sure the posture is all straight. You really feel the burn on your lower back here. So, hey, that's the workout for today. Boom! Your boy's looking kind of good. I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday, I feel kind of guilty eating all those chicken nuggets. Although it did fit the calories of the day and it was decent protein, I still feel kind of bad. But anyways, onto the breakfast. Or should I say brunch? Because I ate around like 11, like basically I ate at noon. Yes, there's like 8 tempura. Is that what you call it? I ate 8 of those, so I know it's kind of oily. It was like dry though. And I had some chickpeas. I had 4 eggs, and then for the shake, I had raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, 1 scoop of oatmeal, 1 scoop of protein powder, creatine, water, some coffee beans, a spoon of peanut butter. Overall, I'm not gonna lie, this entire meal, I'm not gonna lie, I would say it's like 1,200 calories, I would say. I think. But that's why today, I'm actually not going to have a lunch. I think I'm just gonna have this as my brunch and have a dinner, and that's it. So let's go on to the dinner. Okay, for lunch, your boy had some more chickpeas, 2 drumsticks, and some spinach. For the spinach, I cooked it up in some like oil and then some like garlic soy sauce, so it was pretty tasty. And then had a cup of water. I know like today I didn't have 3 meals, I only had 2, but that's because my brunch was like pretty big, pretty hefty in calories as well. So ending off on a good note. For dinner, yeah, as y'all can see, not a lot of carbs, just more just protein and just some vegetables. Oh my god. But hey, that is day 37 complete. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 38. Thank you guys for watching, guys. Literally, my last day is next Wednesday, so August 20th. So it's been a journey, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love y'all. Peace.